Welcome back to the channel, and we're on season 3 of the KU football rebuild. We have a new schedule that we're going to be using this year. I before had been not making any changes to the schedule, but now I am, just because I don't think it's really lining up anymore with what's actually scheduled out in the future. So as you can see, I added Nebraska. I had to put Missouri back on the schedule, and I went ahead and just put Delaware on there just for the fun of it because they're new to the game. As you can see here, my top 100 board is not really all that good, being that we came off of a playoff run. You would have thought it would have been better, but it is actually not as good as I would have hoped. We do have a few out there that hopefully we can get, but not a lot of 5 stars that we have a shot at. My initial board was really weak. I only have 2 that have stars next to them that are green gems, and everything else, all my scouting, none of it paid off. I wasn't getting anything good on the recruiting board this time. First game of the season, we have Delaware. I'm not expecting this to be much of a game, but I did actually want to play it just because of the fact that it's a new team. I wanted to see how it is. And we made a pretty big catch down the sideline that honestly, I should not have thrown that ball. If it wasn't Delaware, I probably wouldn't have thrown that ball. And then we just from here keep running up the score. We're up 42-6 and just keep going all the way to a blowout of Delaware. The final score was 63-6. I played the moments on it. For the most part, I didn't play a lot of it, mostly just offensive possessions here and there. And I skipped a lot because it was such a blowout, but I still wanted to see how the team was. To be completely honest, it's hard to tell with Delaware, but we should get to know more here against Missouri. Based on the overalls, I actually thought Missouri was going to put up more of a fight, but our offense was really good, and actually so is our defense. Even though our defense has a low rating, our defense is a 76, so I've been worried about them all year, but we're holding them to 3 at this point. If you haven't been watching on the first 2 seasons, my rules are I play the moments, and I also only play rivalry games like Missouri here and ranked opponents. So that's the reason I'm playing Missouri and doing pretty well against Missouri, actually. And this is actually with playing the moments. Usually the Sims mess me up a lot more than that. May change things up in a little bit. I'm not 100% sure that I want to keep with just playing the moments. I may play fourth quarters. I'm not sure yet. But as you see here, we do get to celebrate on the field. Disappointed there's no trophy for this rivalry game, but we've now won 2 in a row, and that's huge against Missouri. Trust me, Kansas fans love beating Missouri at any sport they can. It's the border war for a reason. We're not that far apart. Say we, because I am a Kansas fan. So this is a big one for me. Next up, we've got Nebraska, Kansas, which, believe it or not, is one of the oldest well, I shouldn't say rivalry, one of the most played games in college football, even though they're not in the same conference anymore and they're not technically rivals. But it's definitely a game that's good to have back on the schedule from the old Big 12 days. During the Nebraska walkout, I realized Dylan Rayola, even though this is year 3 of my dynasty, is still here. You still see him tapping the horseshoe. And at this point, he's had multiple years in college to grow, so he is a lot better, and he's going to be tough to contain, to be completely honest with you. And I think that's Matt Rule still holding him back. I don't know if he's still the coach there, but that's the kind of hoodie he wears. So I think we've got a lot of similarities of Nebraska in current Nebraska to where we are now at year 3 in the dynasty. I'm going to put less and less of the gameplay on these videos because the last couple have been about an hour and I think they're too long. And as you can see here, we did actually do pretty good against Nebraska, and we ended up getting a pretty comfortable win. It wasn't as comfortable as Missouri or Delaware, but it was still a pretty good win, and it was against a ranked Nebraska team. So that's going to help us out in championship contender, brand exposure, all of that. And plus, just beating Nebraska at Nebraska is a good win for our season in general. We've got unranked Cincinnati up next, and per my rules, we have to sim this, and honestly, that's a little worrying because I have not always done the greatest in sims. Thankfully, we're 4-0 now, but still not reeling in a lot of recruits. Next up, BYU, another sim. We're pretty close in overall, so it might be a 50-50 sim. Even with the coin flip, we did manage to win and go 5-0, so that's a big start for KU. Houston is next up, and we should have a big advantage here, but with my luck, we're going to lose this because that's how my sims go. For whatever reason, the winnable games, I don't win. I don't know what the logic is, but somehow I don't end up winning those. Unfortunately, I was right, and we lost our sim against Houston. I don't know the logic on these sims. I don't know if there's something I could be doing here to win more of these winnable games on the sims, but it seems like it's happening a lot, and unfortunately, Houston tripped us up for the first loss of the season. Let's see if we can get it back. Again, we have Arizona, a team that we should beat. We are at home. I really hope we can win this one. Let's sim it and find out. We landed our first recruit. That's a good sign. He's one of our gyms, so that's a big one. We only got locked out of a couple, one and a deal breaker, and we did manage to win this one. So thankfully we won this one that we were supposed to win, and we're 6-1 and looking good. We are home against Iowa State, and this one actually does look like a coin flip, so I could see this going either way if it was played in real life. Let's see if we win it on the sim. We did not. We are 6-2, and the reason I'm not showing you recruiting is because I'm not actually landing hardly any recruits. I think that one recruit that I showed you earlier is one of the only recruits I've landed so far this season, so we're having a brutal time trying to get recruits. Now we've got Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. This one looks like more of a coin flip as well. Real life news, I think I heard that Deion had a press conference and had some good news health-wise, so good for Deion. I'm glad that's going on. Still hope we can win this, though. Well, unfortunately for us, the Buffaloes rallied around Deion and got another win. We're still kind of sitting at 6 wins. All of a sudden, our season kind of cooled off from our good start. Still not getting any recruits, probably due to the fact that we keep losing these games. The controller's finally back in my hands again. We are playing K-State, rivalry game, so we are able to play it. K-State is starting to fall off. They do have us on defense, but overall we are a little better than they are. Let's see if we can pull off the win. With me actually controlling it, I feel a little better about it. I believe the series so far has gone K-State year 1, KU year 2, and hopefully KU year 3. So we've got the wore the reds with the blue helmet and the red face mask. I don't know. Let me know if you guys like this. I haven't messed around with KU's alternates quite as much because they don't have the one I really like, which is the baby blue. Hopefully they'll add that to the game. And while we're at it, hopefully they'll adjust the stadium a little bit or at least the field part of it, because the sidelines do not look like that currently. K-State definitely had us early, but in the fourth quarter, Akili Smith Jr. transfer is starting to throw some good passes, maybe questionable decision making on my part, but he's throwing some good passes, and I'm starting to like him more as my quarterback. I was not so sure not having the mobility after Jalen Daniels went pro, but I'm kind of starting to like him. I'm coming around. Also, this time our run blocking is much better. It's honestly probably the better part of our team. Our pass blocking, though, not so much. Akili Smith is just trying to get passes out as fast as he can. But as you can see there, our run blocking is doing a good job holding their own. So at least I have that going for me on my offensive line. I wish if I was going to have a running offensive line, I would have a mobile quarterback. But I just said I like Akili. I'm going to stick with him. The fourth quarter has been all KU, all comeback. We managed to get a score here. I thought that would seal it, but I ended up kind of blowing a catch here or blowing an interception here. I didn't get that one recorded, but K-State made it closer with that blown coverage. At the end of the day, we got an onside kick, and after the onside kick here, we get to kneel on the Jayhawk in the center of the field and end it the way we want to. We get a trophy for this one, which is pretty cool, and the fact that we still lead the entire career or history, whatever you want to say, the entire series with K-State in real life, we do lead, and this is adding 1 to that number. So that's pretty big. Most Kansas fans will take this win. Maybe, I don't know if it's as big as the Missouri win. I think the Missouri win's probably bigger, but this is the second rivalry game, and this is another big win to stop our slide as we've been losing games kind of left and right, to be honest. So We're hopefully back on the right track. Hopefully we'll start getting some recruits and make some wins here. Next up, we've got Ranked Texas Tech. So another game I get to control. Again, this one's actually pretty close. We've got the overall, but they've got us on defense. But like I said, me getting to control this, I feel a lot better. So let's see if we can beat Texas Tech. Also forgot to mention this is another home game, so that's good. We're not having to go into Lubbock and try to win there. Going with the all blues. And so far in this season, I don't love our defense. I don't love our pass blocking at all. Like Achilles Smith's been fighting for his life. We've got some good receivers out there, some kind of fast ones. Our running backs are really good as well. But in terms of standout players, I don't think we have one amazing standout player out of all of these guys. We got up big early on Texas Tech, so I decided to test something. I thought, we're going up big on Texas Tech. Let's mess around with some of the sim options. Let's try one time seeing if we can sim to the third quarter. That obviously was not a good idea, as now we are down one. We do get it back here. I tried to go for two. I did miss the 2-point conversion. So we have kind of a weird score already here, and the fact that we have 26-21. Honestly, I've been struggling on defense this entire dynasty, but I did manage to get one pick six. It was a little bit of the computer, not going to lie. I wasn't controlling him, but a pick six is huge. I don't normally get those, so this changing the momentum, big point in the game, pretty much turned everything around and helped us seal this one off. Taj Timms, our cornerback who had the pick six, ended up getting the National Player of the Week for his game that he had there, and that's actually the first one of those we've had this season. I feel like Achilles Smith should have had some Player of the Weeks, but apparently he hasn't done quite well enough, even though he's had a good year so far. New to College Football 26, they have gadget receivers, and I found one here that I want to try to go for. It opened back up for me where I can maybe get this guy. I'm curious, maybe I can move him later to quarterback. We'll have to do some scouting. He is short, but we'll see. On to Oklahoma State, another game that we will be simulating because it's not a rivalry or ranked. We should be able to win this, you would think. I thought wrong. We lost this game and we lost our ranking as well. So that's going to hurt us on championship contender for sure. Just realized that was actually the last game of the regular season. Thought maybe that loss on that sim actually cost us the Big 12 championship game, but it did not. We were 2 games out. Unfortunately, multiple sims cost us there, but at least that last one wasn't the thing that kicked us out of the Big 12 championship game. In the bye weeks, I did find another green gem and somebody we needed in a quarterback, and his name's Rambo, so I got to get him. He's also a pure runner named Rambo. I mean, you got to, right? If you watched the last video, you might remember that we did add points to Lance Leipold to hopefully get a better defensive coordinator. So now we're actually going to do some defensive coordinator shopping. I actually like DK McDonald in real life, so I don't really want to let him go. But in this game, I want to try to let him go to try to see if we can get more of a motivator. So that's what we're going to be going for here. Hopefully we can find a good assistant coach that's a good motivator to help build us up in the offseason, because that's something we've really been missing. Thankfully, we got lucky and found one coach that does fit our need here in Spencer Danielson from Washington. And he's got a California pipeline, which is a pipeline that we also have, so that should help a little bit there. As you can see, our other options are not good, so we're lucky that we at least got one good option. Hopefully we can sign him. I'm going to be completely honest. I had hoped to get a lot more recruits at the end of the season. We did pull off a 4-star and a 3-star who is a gem. So Newcomb was a good one as well. But the fact that we only ended with 2, our recruiting class was terrible. We still have the transfer portal to go, but I mean, obviously sitting outside the top 100 is not ideal. And the just low volume of recruits we're getting, I don't know what I did wrong this season. Apparently I did a lot wrong during the season. Maybe I should have been going for 3 stars. We were ranked throughout part of the year. I don't know why we weren't landing. I think I'm just going for some of the wrong guys. Maybe I'm going too high by going for too many 4 stars during the season. Maybe next season I'll have to tone that down a little bit. But yeah, right now we're sitting outside the top 100. Not ideal. We're going to have to pull off something pretty great in the transfer portal. I'm not taking an offer in this dynasty, but I did think it was interesting that we keep getting offers from Wisconsin every year. I think almost every year of this dynasty, we've gotten a head coach offer from Wisconsin. They really want us to take Lance Leipold. Someday I might just do a dynasty and just take him up on it and just go to Wisconsin and just see what happens. We are bowl eligible, and we're doing the Guaranteed Rate Bowl against Nebraska for the second time in the season. I would hope they would not pick a return matchup like this, but it is what it is. And again, Nebraska is slightly better than we are. And Raiola is back to try to win what I think is his last game. I should have checked if he's a senior. I would imagine he would be a senior at this point in his career. So, and also Nebraska is the home team technically here, even though I don't really like how that works. I feel like in a bowl game being neutral, I guess it probably doesn't have near as much of a home field advantage, but you can still hear it in the crowd. You still get the boos because you're technically the away team, but it doesn't really mess you up as bad with the stadium pulse. Our defense has held Nebraska to a couple field goals, which is pretty good for our defense, and then we get one here to go up and take the lead, and we never really look back after that point. This is actually one of my favorite plays. I usually throw the screen to the running back, but the motion man, nobody went with him. Nobody moved at all, and he was wide open in the corner of the end zone. Playing all the hits, this is actually another one of my favorites out of the Kansas playbook. It's almost like a pick play, the way it's got those two routes stacked on top of each other, and it's got the guy that goes into motion to set it up and stack him up. I don't know why it just seems to work for a good 5-10 yards almost every time I run it, at least against the CPU. Outs in general seem to do pretty good against the CPU. And then as you can see here, I mean, we've pretty much got it in hand. Go ahead and hand it off and finish it off with a nice run to win the game. Probably my longest run of the season, to be honest. I am not a very good runner, but the fact that I could seal this one off with a run, last couple minutes, the last couple seconds, just to now be able to hold up the trophy, to have beaten Nebraska twice in a year after not playing them hardly at all. Heartbreak for Raiola. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. My bad if I'm not. But that's it. KU did at least manage to go 9-4, win a bowl game. Hopefully taking that into the offseason. I don't know if we can get another program tradition star and get more hours, but hopefully that at least sets us up good for next year. There you are. We are the Guaranteed Rate Bowl champions. Let's go ahead and look at the playoff. It looks like Georgia and Notre Dame played in the championship, and Notre Dame pulled off the win. This actually feels more normal, other than like teams like Tulane getting in, than a lot of the other playoffs that I've seen. So that's kind of good. Duke didn't make it this year. Duke's been pretty dominant. We didn't get our original guy, so I had to go back and get Matt Powledge from Baylor, but thankfully he popped up in the list after I missed out on the first guy, and he actually has a pretty good motivator tree. I wish that he had more of an off-season boost, but he's at least really heavily in the motivator side, so I am happy with that. On to the offseason, and finally a good sign. We only had 4 players try to leave, and 2 of those I was able to convince to come back, because that's one of Leipold's abilities, is that he has... I only had to use second chance on 1 of them, but I was able to get 2 of the 4 to come back. And so next year, at least we should have a full roster. Keely Smith Jr.'s overall is getting up there, so I went ahead and bumped up Leipold's recruiter to be able to do better with transfer portal quarterbacks, because we're going to need to sign at least 1 of those in this offseason. Hopefully more, because according to our needs, we need 2. So we're going to bump that up, and hopefully we can get some transfer portal quarterbacks. Hopefully we can get Rambo too, to be honest. A 5-star came back available, and we did manage to get him, so that's a big pickup, but still not very many in terms of the numbers. We need more numbers. We didn't have very many people go in the draft. Actually, we only had 1, but at least he went first round. I mentioned the gadget Wilkins earlier. Look at these stats here. If I can pull off this one, Wilkins actually might be a 5'9" option quarterback for me. I know that's weird. I might change his position to be an option quarterback, be a pure runner. I assume that's what he'd be, but he's actually got pretty good throw stats as well. So I might honestly try him out at quarterback. I mean, we need him next year. And literally the next week in recruiting, we get Isaac Wilkins. So that's going to be interesting. I really think I'm probably going to try him out at quarterback and see how he does. I'm letting it roll through the final week of recruiting here. You see we got a 4-star, and then we're getting a bunch. There's Rambo. We needed Rambo, so we should be set at the quarterback position for the future. I don't know if Rambo is going to be the future or Wilkins is, but we actually got at least a lot of recruits this time. It's a lot of 2-stars, a lot of 3-stars, not a lot of 4-stars, but there's a couple in there. It's enough that I feel like hopefully we, took some flyers, maybe get some random gems that we weren't able to scout. And if nothing else, I feel like we're going to have a full team. We can always encourage these guys to transfer later if some of these guys aren't good, like some of these 2-stars. We can always encourage them to transfer later, but at least we're filling out our numbers. We'll deal with the rest later. And let's check here what our recruiting class overall is now. It's not a top 5, but hey, coming from 100 up to 26 in the transfer portal period, that's pretty big. That's going to help out, at least make it to where I feel like we had a decent season and a decent off season, or at least a decent recruiting period. Would have liked to have been a lot better, a lot more 2-stars than I wanted, and a lot less 4 and 5s. We'll just have to take it for now, though. On to the training results, and as you can see here, I'm really glad that we decided to go ahead and get some backups for Akili, because I think I might have a hard time keeping him next year. He went off in the off-season training. I don't know who he was working out with, but whoever it was, it paid off. And he's going to be faster next year, so I can hopefully complain a little less about his speed. And honestly, he's a Heisman contender next year, so that's a good training results off season. For the first year out of all 3, we actually have to encourage people to leave. So that's a new one. We'll at least have a full 85 going into next year. Unfortunately, we did not increase our program prestige, but our overall did go up because our defense actually went up. Our offense stayed the same at 84. We didn't lose or gain on offense, but we did gain on defense. Overall, we should be better going into next year, at least if overall say anything. And honestly, I think looking at our team, we will be a lot better next year. That is it for year 3 of the KU Dynasty. Let me know what you guys think of this format and if you like it better. I honestly was kind of trying to think as somebody who would be watching content. I don't know that I would really want to watch the hours that I was putting together. So I decided to try to put together this way. I'm also using a different mic, so hopefully it sounds a little better. The mic's supposed to be clear. I've used it before, but I was trying to capture gameplay as I was doing it. This time I kind of went and did it voiceover. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys did manage to make it this far, appreciate it if you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, because it helps out the channel a ton. Hopefully I can get this channel up to where we've got a little bit more of a community here. As for the season, 9-4, most KU fans will take that, but now we're in year 3. We need a little bit more than that. Hopefully next year we can make another playoff run, if not a championship run. I don't know, 84 is a little low for a championship run, but we do have a 97 overall potential Heisman quarterback. Maybe he'll lead us to the promised land. Thanks everybody for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.